today's lecture. So this is vectors session number 10. Now just yesterday we were discussing about scalar product of vectors or dot product. So we are going to continue with that from today. Quick recap, we saw that scalar product or dot product is given by the definition AB cos theta, and in component form it becomes ax into bx plus ay into by plus az into bz. Okay. So let's start today with some example questions and application examples of the same. So given that magnitude of A is 16, magnitude of B is 12, and magnitude of A plus B is 20, find A dot B. Okay. Similarly, given okay, start by working out these three questions and please tell me your answers as soon as you are working them out. Yes, that's correct. The first answer, you'll realize that the two vectors are perpendicular to each other. So the first one's answers are correct for a couple of people now who have sent me the answers. Theta will be 90 degrees. Oh, sorry. So that basically means that the answer will be 0. A dot B will be 0. So this is your final answer. Just carry on with the second and third question. No, second one, your answers are not correct yet. See, from this, the information you will get is that cos theta is equal to half or theta is equal to 60 degrees. So now use that in this. So mod p plus q. Yes, Hitanshu answer is correct. Ohm, your answer is yeah, correct. 100 root 3 and square root of 1500. Yes, correct. 100 root 3 and mod p minus q will become 100. So these are your final answers. Which one? Third one? Yeah, third one is correct, Om. Theta will be 90 degrees. Okay, so this is also, the angle is going to be 90 degrees, and A dot B is going to be 0. Okay, fine. So let us check out the calculation in each of these. So now, for the benefit of everybody else, those who have not sent me the answers yet, I'm just illustrating the steps in the question. In the first one, A is 16, B is 12, and magnitude of A plus B is 20. So you can see that root of A square plus B square, this is 20. So when you solve this, you will get cos theta as 0. So that will tell you that theta is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, or you can just, from observation, you can see that 20 square is equal to 16 square plus 12 square. This automatically tells you that theta is equal to 90 degrees. You just spot this, then you don't have to do all these steps. So the moment you know theta is 90 degrees, so now you know that A dot B is AB cos theta will become 0 here, because cos 90 is 0. We saw that property of dot product. Okay, so perpendicular vectors gives you 0 dot product. So that's almost direct formula based, nothing difficult in this. Okay, people, so hope this is clear. Now next up, second question. Again, same kind of thing you have to do, but this is now reverse of that. P dot Q is given to us, so from that we will find cos theta. So magnitude of P is given as 100, magnitude of Q is also given as 100, and P dot Q is given to us as 5000. So P dot Q, PQ cos theta is 5000. Okay, so from that we will get cos theta is half, and from that we will get that this will become, this we can write as, can use this special formula, because here you are having that rhombus formula. Magnitude of P is equal to magnitude of Q is equal to 100, and theta is equal to 60 degrees. So you can use that special formula for the rhombus that we had discussed, that this will become this, and this will become this. So you can make use of this, formula, so that will cut the amount of calculation you have to do little bit. Okay, otherwise you can use the whole triangle law formula also, that's fine. But so you can see this will become 100 root 3, and mod of P minus Q become 2 into 100 into sine of 30, so that will become 100. Okay. So these become your answers. So hope the steps are clear with this. If anybody has a doubt, please ask me over the message, I'll explain. Now the third question is the simplest of the lot actually. You have to just use the formula. लास्ट पार्ट ना, ये रोम्बस का स्पेशल फॉर्मूला यूज किया मैंने. ओके, या Aditi, I just use the special formula of the rhombus case, that when mod A is equal to mod B, okay, then your parallelogram becomes a rhombus. and it has these properties that A plus B is perpendicular to A minus B. Okay, and alpha is equal to theta by 2, beta is equal to 90 minus theta by 2, and it also has that special formula that magnitude of A plus B is 2A cos theta by 2, and magnitude of A minus B is 2A sin theta by 2. So this is the formula that I've used for this one over here. This was theta is 60 and magnitude of P is equal to magnitude of Q. So basically this information कि इन दोनों का magnitude 100 and this is 60 is showing us that the if you draw the vector parallelogram, it will become like this. It will be a rhombus with this angle being 60 degrees. So sides are equal. Okay. So for this rhombus now, let's ensure that the sum and the difference is such that this angle is equal to this angle. Okay. And this angle is equal to this angle, and they cut each other perpendicularly, and this is your P minus Q. So if you pay attention to the geometry of this rhombus, it will be very easy how you can show this formula here and this formula here. It's coming from the geometry of the rhombus. The diagonals are cutting it into four congruent right angle triangles, and just using trigonometry in that you can show that these hypotenuse for each of these triangles is 100 and there are 30, 60, 90 triangles. It's very easy to show this. Is it clear, Aditi? Okay, good. Okay. So there's a little shortcut. Okay. Otherwise, you can always go back to the formula of triangle law. You can always apply this that okay, this is equal to root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. But you don't need to use this lengthy formula here. It's not required because you can see it's the special case of the rhombus. In the special case, you should use the shortcut formula. It will always come to advantage. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to the third part. In third part, you just have to use the formula of component form of A dot B. Okay, so let me just pull the question first. Okay. So for this information given, we want to find out the oh sorry, I'm going to work out. Yeah. So for this information given about vectors P and A and B, we have to find out the angle between them and the dot product. Okay. So just use the formula A dot B is AX BX plus AY BY plus AZBZ. So that over here is becoming 2 into minus 1 plus 3 into 1 plus 1 into minus 1. So minus 2 plus 3 minus 1. So that's 0. So A dot B is 0. So that is also telling us that they are perpendicular to each other. So this implies that theta is equal to 90 degrees. That is, the vector A is perpendicular to the vector B. So this is the useful information over here. Okay, so I think this should be fine. This question must be clear to you. Now moving on, let us look at the applications of dot product. What do we use dot product for? Dot or scalar product. So the first and foremost thing is, of course, there are direct applications in physics. For example, work done, say W, by a force F, okay, acting on a particle or body, whatever, making a displacement of S. Okay, this work done is defined as F dot S. Okay, where force is in newtons, displacement will be in meters, so the work done will be in joules. This is the work done. Okay, so that thing, that the way we define that, work equals force multiplied by the displacement in the direction of force. This is how we define it in a ninth standard level. We define it like this: that it is the displacement in the direction of force. So mathematically, that actually becomes dot product. Okay, and I'll show you the logic of why it becomes this. Because suppose we are applying a force on a body like this. We are applying the force in this sort of direction. Okay. We are applying a force like this, but the body is actually moving in some strange kind of way. It's going like this, some kind of strange kind of path, and after some time it reaches here. So then the displacement of the body from the initial to the final position will be this vector I'm drawing next. The vector straight joining the initial position to the final position. So that will be the displacement vector. Okay. So let's say that that displacement vector is at an angle theta to this. Okay. So now you can see in this diagram what is happening कि force का जो direction है वो ये वाला arrow का direction है, but displacement का जो direction है वो इसके along है. So what is the component of displacement which is along the force, or what will we say is the displacement in the direction of force? That will be, you drop a perpendicular here, okay, and this value here, this you can see in the diagram is S cos theta. Now this is the displacement component in the direction of the force. That is the thing. Okay, so now if I say that, okay, work done is force into displacements component along the force, वो कितना हो जाएगा? It will be magnitude of the force multiplied with S cos theta. So that you can see is nothing but F dot S. That is the dot product. Okay, so this is the reason why, instead of giving such a lengthy definition in words, once we are familiar with vector algebra, we just define force in it, work done in this way, that it is the scalar product. Okay, work done by a force F through a displacement of S is the scalar product scalar or dot product of force and displacement. This becomes a new definition for us in terms of our knowledge of vector algebra. Okay, so this is the first important application of dot product, which we will be seeing in a chapter, a couple of months later. Because when we come to this chapter of work energy theorem, we would be looking at direct application of dot product in calculating work done by the force. Okay, so this is, you can say, the priority application for us in physics. When we come to work energy chapter, the application of dot product to calculate work done. This is the number one priority reason why we are studying about dot product in the first place. But apart from this, there are some other applications also, and we'll discuss about that next. But make a note of this first. Yeah, so in the diagram, the displacement of the body is nothing but the line joining the initial position with the final position. So suppose my body has moved along some kind of path like this. कोई भी arbitrary path से जाके यहाँ पहुँच गया. So what is my initial position? This is my initial position. What is my final position? This is the final. So what will be the displacement vector? The displacement vector will be this. The vector joining. This is the displacement. Yes. Now, while this displacement was happening, let us say the force that we were applying was acting in this direction. So, what about the work done by the force? It will become the force multiplied by the component of displacement along the direction of force. So you have to drop a perpendicular here, and this will become the component of displacement along the force. So that is now from trigonometry. You can see this angle is 90. So in this right angle triangle, this comes out to be s cos theta, because this side is s, this angle is theta, so this is s cos theta. Is it clear now? Okay. So let us understand this with an example. So in this example, what we are having is an inclined plane such that this angle is 37 degrees to the horizontal. Okay. Now a block slides from position A to position B. Okay. Where this is, let us say, 25 meters. Okay. And during the time the body slides, so this is, so a block of mass 5 kilograms, okay, slides from A to B, okay, given g is equal to 10 meters per second square, okay, and frictional force of magnitude 10 newtons acts on it. Okay. Find the work done by gravitational force, that is its weight mg, and the work done by frictional force, okay, during the displacement from A to B. Just work this out quickly. So in the problem here, this is what is called a rough inclined plane. Okay. At theta equal to 37 degrees with respect to the horizontal. So just work this out, people. Okay, so let's understand the vectors over here. So, for example, when we are considering work done by the weight, so what is happening is that the displacement of the body is like this. Displacement vector is like this. It's of 25 meters, but the weight of the object is a force that is acting in the vertically downward direction. So the force we are talking about, okay, this is the force and this is the displacement. Okay, so this is of magnitude 50 newtons. Okay, and now the important thing is the angle between these two. You can see this angle is 37, so this angle is 53. So work done by gravitational force, this will become how much? It will become mg into s into cos of which angle? 53 degrees. So the angle between the force and the displacement is this. So it is 50 newtons multiplied by a displacement of 25 meters, but multiplied with the cos 53 factor, which is going to be how much? It's going to be 3 by 5. Okay, so it's going to be 750 newton meter, or that is the same thing as 750 joules. Okay, this is the work done by the gravitational force. This is the answer to the first part. So while it is coming down, the gravitational force is always acting like this. So the angle between the gravitational force and the displacement vector, you can see, is this angle. And there's nothing not to understand. Hitanchu, just is formula based here. You know that work done by a force is the dot product of the two things ना. So work done is force is dot product with displacement. तो यहाँ पे फोर्स का मैग्नीट्यूड कितना है mg है, डिस्प्लेसमेंट का मैग्नीट्यूड कितना है s है, और उनके बीच एंगल कितना है 53 डिग्रीज है. तो व्हाट इज देयर नॉट टू अंडरस्टैंड? It's plain as day in front of you. I made the diagram. The diagram was the thing you have to understand. Once the diagram is made, it's self-evident. So you took wrong, na? Theta is 37 is not correct, na? Theta is the angle between the force and the displacement, na? So that angle is not 37. The force is vertically downwards. The displacement is along the inclined plane. So where is the angle between them? 37. The angle between them is 53 degrees. This theta is not the angle between the force and displacement. No? This theta is the angle, it's clearly mentioned in the question. Theta is the angle with the inclined plane is making with the horizontal. So question ने कब कहा है कि force और displacement के बीच angle is theta? Yes, mass is 5 kg. That's why the weight is 50 newtons. What are you asking, Hitanchu? Simple things. Na? It's given to you. M is 5 kg and G is given as 10 meters per second square. So this much you have to understand yourself. Na? That weight is 50 newtons. This is class 9th level stuff here. You have to understand these things. Yeah. Now quickly work out the work done by friction also next. algebraic sign is not correct, Om. Friction का direction क्या है? This you know from your general knowledge of mechanics, no? Basic things in physics. What is the direction in which friction acts? Opposite to the displacement, yes. So the work done by friction will be negative, that's correct. So while the body is sliding down the inclined plane, now the direction of frictional force that will act will be like this, because it will oppose the motion. This is the direction in which the motion is taking place. Okay. Okay. So the friction will always be opposite. Direction of frictional force will be opposite to the direction of motion. Okay. So now as the body is moving from here to here, your displacement vector is in this sort of direction. This is your displacement vector. So in this case, the angle between the displacement vector and the force vector is 180 degrees. Okay. So the magnitude of friction is given to us in the question as 10 newtons, and the displacement's magnitude is 20 meters or 25 meters. What was it? 25 meters tha? 25 meters tha. Okay. And the friction's magnitude C was given to us in the question, given to us as 10 newtons. So it will be minus 250 joules. This will become 10 newtons, 25 meters, but cos 180 is minus 1. Remember, cos 180 degrees is minus 1. So it will be minus of 250 joules. That will be the work done by friction. So note this down quickly. Okay, is this done? Is it clear now, Hitanshu? Have you understood both the parts? Om, you have also understood the answer for friction is not minus 250 and not 50 न्यूटन ना वेट ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स या वेट कितना होता है weight of a body, okay, that is what we call the gravitational force acting on it. It is mg, okay, that is mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity, okay, and it always acts vertically downwards. The direction of gravity is downwards. So whether the body is on an inclined plane or a horizontal surface or where it's lying, it does not matter. The direction of the gravitational pull that the earth is applying is always vertically downwards, and its magnitude is mass into g. Okay, good. So you must be aware of acceleration due to gravity concept, no? Tanju? Okay. All right. So coming back to what we are discussing in general, the applications of this thing, dot product. So we saw the first application is work done, direct application. Now moving on from that, we will come to more applications. Okay. Now second, we'll see a somewhat indirect application. Okay. Dot product can be used to find the condition to find the condition on two vectors A and B to be perpendicular. This is a very useful thing. Okay. So suppose the vector A is having components Ax, Ay, and Az, and the vector B is having components Bx, By, and Bz. Okay. Then the condition, the mathematical condition for A and B to be perpendicular is that we know A dot B is should be 0. So here in terms of the components, this means that Ax into Bx plus Ay into By plus Az into Bz should be 0. If this is 0, if and only if this is 0, they are perpendicular vectors. So when this happens, it implies that A is perpendicular to B. So this is something very important that we should know about vector algebra. So for example, if we have a question like this, we have a vector which is given by 2 I cap minus j cap plus k cap. Okay. I want to find out that which of these is perpendicular to vector E. Okay. So our option A is, let's say, this. Then our option B is, let us say, okay. Then our option C is this, and our option D is, let us say, sorry, correction. Okay. So just write down this, and after that try out this question. Okay, so let's check it out. So what you have to do is you have to take the dot product. No? So in this one, suppose I say that this vector is b, you can see that a dot b is how much? It is 2 into 1 plus minus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1. So that's a positive quantity. Right? It's plus 2. So this is not going to be the answer. It's not perpendicular because the condition for perpendicular is this. In this one, suppose this vector is c, then a dot c कितना बन जा रहा है? It's becoming 2 minus 1 minus 1. Correct? So that's 0. So you can see that this is correct. So this vector c is perpendicular to a. Okay. Now similarly, let's say this next one is the vector d or whatever. Okay. So now let's see what is a dot d. A dot d is 2 into 1, that's 2, minus 1 into 2, that's minus 2, plus 1 into 1, that's 1. So that's plus 1. So it's not 0. So this is not perpendicular. Okay. And finally, let's look at this one. Let's say this vector is e or something. So a dot e is becoming 2 into 2, that's 4, minus 1 into 3, so that's minus 3, plus 1 into minus 1, so this is again 0. You can see that yes, this is also perpendicular. So e dot e is 0, implies that e is perpendicular to e. So the correct answers for this one becomes both options, b and d. Both the options are correct. Okay, so this is something very useful. Okay, always remember the easiest way to check that two vectors are perpendicular, take their dot product, it should be 0. So this is the condition on finding out whether two vectors are perpendicular or not. Okay, next application, also another very important one. So given vectors a and b in component form, okay, the angle between them, theta, can be calculated by this very simple application, that cos theta is a dot b divided by magnitude of a into magnitude of b. We'll just use this formula. Okay. This is coming from the fact that a dot b is defined as magnitude of a into b into cos theta. So just reverse this equation. So for example, suppose I have the vector a, which is root 3 I cap plus j cap, and I have the vector b, which is 2 I cap plus 2 root 3 j cap, and I want to find theta, the angle between a and b. I want to find this out. Okay, so I'll just use this formula. I'll use the formula that cos theta is a dot b divided by ab. Now in this, a dot b is how much? It is root 3 into 2 plus 1 into 2 root 3. So you can see it is 4 root 3. Okay. Magnitude of a is how much? It is square root of 3 plus 1, so 2. And magnitude of b is how much? Square root of 4 plus 12, so it is 4. So now substitute this all information here. Okay. So substitute these here. So you're getting that cos theta is 4 root 3 divided by 2 into 4. So cos theta is root 3 by 2. So theta is 30 degrees. So you can see that this is an example of how we use dot product to find the angle between two vectors. This is the formula, and this is no new formula. It is just the same definition of a dot b से ही आ रहा है. But here now theta is the unknown and a and b are known vectors. So use this to find out this. So just make a note of this quickly. So Ayush, in the last part of the sum, we have just substituted in this formula. You see now? This is the formula. Okay. So this here is the formula for cos theta. तो उसमें न्यूमरेटर क्या है a डॉट बी. सो a डॉट बी मैंने कहाँ से कैलकुलेट किया है? a और b के वैल्यू से कैलकुलेट किया. a is root 3 I cap plus j cap and b is like this. So it's ax into bx plus ay into by. So I got a dot b. Similarly, magnitude of a from formula, magnitude of b. Now these three quantities a dot b, mod a and mod b, I'm just substituting in this formula. So that is the last part. So this is just substituted here. So that is giving us this, that cos theta is this much. So cos theta is root 3 by 2. So obviously you know theta is 30 degrees. Is it clear now? Okay, good. So let's do a bit of practice with this. So find the angle between vectors a and b for each of the following. Okay, so in each of these you have to just use the formula that I've given you above and calculate the angle between the vectors. Okay, students, let's check out the answers. So yes, the first one, you can see that cos theta is a negative quantity in the first one. Okay, so theta cannot be an acute angle; it has to be an obtuse angle. So that's the first thing you have to check. In the first one, you can see that A dot B is -3. Oh, sorry. No, no, my mistake. So it is -2 plus 6. So it's plus 4. So it's fine. Okay. And magnitude of A is 2 and magnitude of B is 4. So once again you will get cos theta as half. Okay, so theta is cos inverse of half, which you know is 60 degrees. So the first answer is 60 degrees. Similarly, now the second one, you can see that A dot B will come out to be 0 plus 2 plus 2. That's 4. Magnitude of A is 2 root 3 and magnitude of B is root 2. Okay, so cos theta is, so you'll just have to say that theta is cos inverse of root 2 by 3. This will become the angle for us. We don't need to calculate anything further. We can just leave the answer in cos inverse form. Yes. Okay. Now similarly, when we come to the third one, we can see that A dot B is again 4. Okay, and magnitude of A is root 3. Magnitude of B is 2 root 2. So again we will see that cos theta comes out to be root 2 by 3. So it's the same angle. This and this are the same. Okay. Whereas the last one, you will see the dot product is 0. Okay. Check that out. So it doesn't matter that magnitude of A is how much. Oh, sorry, is root 3. Okay, because dot product is 0 means that cos theta is 0. So this means that theta is 90 degrees. So these are the answers. Okay. Let's just do one more part of this because I wanted to cover one which has a obtuse angle. So let's look at this one. Just finish this one, then we'll move on to the next thing. Yeah, so you're getting the answer. Om, your answer is correct. Ruksar, you have to check again your calculation. No, Shrey, you have also made some calculation mistake. Okay, let's understand this. So here you can see that vector A has an x component of 2 and a y component of 2, whereas vector B has an x component of 0, y component of minus 1, and z component of plus 1. So A dot B is 2 into 0 plus 2 into minus 1 plus 0 into 1. So that's minus 2. Okay. So the fact that A dot B is negative is kind of telling you that theta must be obtuse. We already understand that. Okay. Then magnitude of the vector is, okay, 2 root 2, and magnitude of the vector B is root 2. So now from this we can see that cos theta is minus half. You should be getting minus 2 upon 2 root 2 into root 2. So you can see it's minus half. So this means that theta must be 120 degrees because cos 60 is half. So cos 120 becomes minus half. So make use of this concept. So here you can see that theta is 120 degrees. Okay, so this is a very important application of dot product. Okay. It gives you a straightforward way of calculating the angle between two vectors, whether it's two dimensional, three dimensional, whatever be the case. Okay. In two dimensional, of course, you can draw the vectors and calculate the angle geometrically also, but in 3D you cannot do that. So in three dimensional case, wherever there is I, J, and along with that K also, you have only one method of calculating the angle between two vectors, one feasible method, and that is the dot product method. Okay. Now the last thing for today we'll understand is another property of three dimensional vectors, but that we'll understand through the concept of cos theta that we just saw. So for any vector in three dimensional component notation, okay, if the angle of the vector A with respect to x axis is denoted by alpha, okay, and similarly the angle of the vector A with respect to y axis is denoted by beta, and the angle of A with respect to z axis is denoted by gamma, then alpha, beta, and gamma can be calculated from something called direction cosines of vector E. And the direction cosines are nothing but cos alpha, cos beta, and cos gamma. Okay. Now the concept here is that we have a simple formula. Cos alpha will be E is x component divided by mod A. Cos beta will be E is y component divided by mod A, and cos gamma will be E is z component divided by mod A. Now where does this formula set come from? It comes from the concept that E is dot product with I cap will become nothing but E is magnitude, okay, multiplied with I cap's magnitude, which is 1, multiplied with cos alpha, okay, because alpha is the angle between of vector E with respect to x axis. So that is nothing but with respect to I cap. So it should be this. Okay. Now notice that since the vector E is Ex I cap plus Ey j cap plus Ez k cap, therefore what is E is dot product with I cap? It is nothing but Ax. Okay. So Ax. So apply this concept here. So Ax is nothing but A cos alpha. So cos alpha is nothing but Ax divided by magnitude of A. Okay. Similarly, E is dot product with j cap will just become E into 1 into cos of beta. Same reason. Beta is the angle with respect to y axis. Okay. So again here you can see Ey becomes E cos beta. Okay. And similarly you have a formula for, okay, so that's the logic of these three formulae. So the angles that the vector makes with respect to each of the coordinate axes alpha, beta, and gamma can be understood from the direct formula of what is called direction cosines. Okay, these three quantities, okay, cos alpha, cos beta, and cos gamma, are collectively called the direction cosines of a vector. Okay. And direction cosines are simply calculated by this formula. So just make a note of this, and with this we'll conclude today's session. Now I'll be sending you worksheet 6, which is mostly an application of dot products and a bit of revision questions from applications of component algebra from before that. So you can complete that, and after that we'll be left with just one thing in vectors, which is the final part, which is something called cross products, which is altogether different operation compared to dot products. So another couple of lectures and we'll be looking at winding up vectors. So I hope the concept of direction cosines is clear to all of you from this. So these set of formulae become very important for us. These three formulae. The calculus portion will be taught to you, Sumit, by Hemant sir. But yeah, like in future chapters like Newton's laws and beyond that and all, we'll see a lot of applications of both the things, vectors and calculus. So it will come into play. But if you basically know how to differentiate and integrate simple type of functions, for the moment it is more than enough for you to learn the applications further on. Okay, people, so that's it for today's session. Make sure you revise this carefully and also try out the worksheet 6, which I'll be sending you before next week. So that's it for today's session. All the best until next time.